So, at Newport Comic Con, I got these. The Balrog and Gandalf the Grey. Now, I've always wanted to make a staff. So, custom collectible time. We're making Gandalf the Grey's staff from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You shall not pass. So today I'm going to be custom building Gandalf's staff. I've never done anything like this before, staff-wise, because it's a natural material. So fingers crossed goes well. So without further ado, let's jump in and do a custom collectible Gandalf staff. Oh, normally I have a little go, practice with a few things. Never done anything. I've never used some of these materials before, so it could work. It could all fall apart. First thing you're going to need is a stick. Now you can either get a large a pole from any hardware store, or you can get like a brush head. But I went out and I found in the woods, like a real man, I went out and found and cut down a branch of a tree. So you can see I got this long stick, just took the edges off with a knife, blunted the end. So I've got like a walking stick. You can see it comes up to about here on me. So with the top, it should come up to here. But when I'm holding it like this, it'd be nice. So, and I like it because it's more of a wood style effect. Kind of looks like it could be a staff. I think it looks more realistic with that. Now, all we need to do, guys, to add to this now is we're going to be building up a foam head shape and cutting into the. I'm going to be using a new type of foam that I haven't really used before, and I don't know how it's going to work. So fingers crossed it works. So I'm going to build up, hot glue it on, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting a small tea light inside with the switch on the outside, so I can cosplay and go, and then have a light up staff. So it should be a quick build, I hope. Let's see how it goes. So here we have the foam brick. Now guys, this stuff is very, very brittle. Now the best thing to do before you go cutting at it is to make sure you can fit it on the end of your stick. So what I did is just literally ram the stick into the bottom. I didn't need to cut or anything, it stuck in itself. We'll fill that with hot glue later. Now this is the tricky part. What you need to do, I used a pencil just to engrave in some of those details, the bended, twisted branches from the top of his staff. Now guys, what you're going to need to do is just fiddle around with this thing, because it does take a lot of time to get the shape that you want. You want to cut out all the excess pieces and leave those twisted wood effect pieces. You can use a pencil, you can use any sort of cutting tools. I used a Stanley blade at first, but guys, this stuff is so brittle you can even use your finger to cut it. I will also give you a little bit of warning, this stuff gets everywhere. I mean, it is worse than sand. By the end, I had an entire table full of this stuff. As you can see, the first thing I went to is to getting a point at the top of my foam, so I got that pointy part of the staff, and then worked around it, and then basically making sure that those feature parts were standing out by cutting all the excess other foam and just using again my fingers, as you can see here, to get the shape I wanted. Now for the light, I got a tea light here, and what I'm doing is I am covering it up with hot glue. This makes the middle bit extended, and as you can see there, when I turn it on, the light comes through. So what I've done here, you can see I've got a hole here where I filled up with hot glue, so that is where my LED will go, and then fill the other bit with hot glue, because when it dries, it gives it that sort of misty kind of glued effect, as you can see at the bottom, which will make it look almost like a crystal inside. To finish off, all I needed to do then was use some quick dry clay and just sculpt it up so it looks like it's one piece. And then finally, to finish, quick paint over everything you've done. Again, the detail is entirely up to you, but you want a good covering of paint. And with that done, the staff is finished. And there we have it, Gandalf's staff from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Guys, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it looks really nice, and I can't wait to put it up in the man cave. I'm not used to doing natural custom builds, so I did find this quite difficult. The floral brick, as brilliant as it was because it was brittle, to carve in that really cool wooden effect, it was a monster. I mean, it was a Smaug kind of monster to paint. It was really hard because what would happen when I used a paintbrush, the paintbrush would get stuck with the foam because it's that sort of texture, or it would break away because I was brushing too hard. So I almost had to like sponge dab it to work, but you've got to be very gentle because it is so brittle. But the great thing is with the paint job, even though it was difficult to paint, it's really botchy and it looks almost like broken bits of chipped wood. And what's great is you can see here, this is where my light will go in. I haven't been that successful with the light. I filled up this center part with hot glue to give it that kind of crystal look. The problem is the light isn't bright enough to come through. So I will be hopefully updating this with a brighter light in there, but I've still got that little gap from where the LED was. I can just put an LED in there, cover it up, and I should be able to put a switch in there quite easily and have a really bright light, so I should get a nice light effect from this too. But back to the paint, you can see through, you can see some of the green coming through, which works really, really well because it gives it almost this kind of rotting wood moss effect, which looks really, really good. And I like how the quick dry clay worked really well to bring it all together. And like I said, I've given a coat of the same colour to the stick, to the staff part, just to give it that really nice Gandalf-y look, that kind of staff look. So guys, it's a really nice, easy build to do. Again, the brick only cost me £1, the paint I already had, hot glue sticks, and a stick. And this, like I said, is going for about £150 replicas of it, and you can make your own for probably about £2 if you feel adventurous. So, only thing left to do now is to test this bad boy out.